Welcome, everyone, to the Apoco-Larry podcast. I'm Steve. He is
Van Beek. Just Van Beek. You know.
Like a Brazilian soccer star.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, when I was down in Brazil,
Yes.
I was usually goalie, but
On, on the beaches of Sao Paulo, where I got my start.
Yes. Running in the sand is what strengthened my legs.
Yes, that's right. There I am on the golden beaches. Me, golden tanned.
Yep. My dad was a soccer player. Well, he's from Holland. I mean, pretty much everybody was a soccer player.
Right. They ran you out of the country otherwise.
Yeah. But he didn't play in the professional leagues. He played just in some other kind of league there. So.
Okay.
Yeah, interesting, eh?
Yeah. Yes.
But that was in Holland. That wasn't Brazil.
Right. But,
Right.
It's another...
I went to Brazil looking for Nazis.
I thought it was Argentina.
There weren't any.
Okay.
I wasn't going to go where there actually were some.
Yeah.
That's dangerous.
That's right. Well, while we're talking about other countries,
Yes.
we should talk about the Ark, and it's in the nation of the Philistines still.
The Philistines got the ark, and this is the chapter where they realize that's not as good as you might think.
Yeah.
I think one of them said, this seemed better in my head. But anyway, yes, the Philistines captured the ark.
Yep. So for those of you playing the at-home edition, we're in chapter 5 of 1 Samuel.
Yes.
And it literally says at the start of this, the Ark in Ashdod and Ekron. So that's why we make these allusions to the Philistines.
Yes.
Anything else that we should preview?
No, the Philistine had, I think, 5 major cities, and Ashdod and Ekron were 2 of them.
Okay.
And so remember the Israelites in the last chapter, they took the ark and brought it with them so that they could win the battle.
Right.
And they lost the battle miserably, right?
Yeah.
And we felt that they actually used the ark quite improperly.
Yeah.
They used the ark as a token. Is that a good word?
Yeah.
As a talisman, as something that was going to bring them luck.
Yeah.
And it appears God did not want to play that game with them.
This has got to be the nicest way I've heard this said. Yeah. It's so true. Yeah.
Yep.
I remember you said that, this is them using the ark as an idol. So.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, folks, well, we'll jump in. Chapter 5, verse 1. After the Philistines had captured the ark of God, they took it from Ebenezer to Ashdod. Then they carried the ark into Dagon's temple and set it beside Dagon.
Okay, so let's just do Dagon for a minute.
You betcha.
You remember he was the main god of the Philistines. Sometimes they say he was the related to Baal, father of Baal, related to the Baals. But the Philistines, this was their guy, and Dagon. It was their temple that Samson stood in the temple of Dagon, and that's when he pushed the pillars and everything fell on them.
Yes.
And wiped out. I can't remember how many it was at the time, 20,000 or something that were in the temple, and Samson was killed in it as well.
Mm-hmm.
So this is Dagon. This is the Philistines again. They come up all over the place, from just after Joshua all the way through the kings. These guys are there.
Okay. And they were bold enough to rebuild the temple after Samson destroyed them all too.
They would have rebuilt it. I don't know. Was it in Ashdod that Samson was though?
I get you.
Maybe it was. Okay, we'd have to go back and look at that at where it was that Samson took it, because they had these 5 major cities, right? The Philistines.
A tale for another day.
Yeah.
Verse 3. When the people of Ashdod rose early the next day, there was Dagon, fallen on his face on the ground before the ark of the Lord. They took Dagon and put him back in his place, because they thought surely someone just knocked him over. No big deal.
Yeah, and it's what they did is they actually put the ark before Dagon.
Mm.
so that it looked like the ark of God was subservient to their god Dagon. And so they come in the morning, and this thing is laying on its face in front of this ark, and everybody's like, "Oh, I don't know, I don't know who did that."
Yeah, yeah. Somebody clearly walked away and didn't want to tell anyone. Sorry, I pushed Dagon over
Yeah,
again.
yeah. I bumped into him and he fell over. But no, this is this the scripture treats this as a miraculous thing.
Yeah, exactly. Verse
Yeah.
4 now. But the following morning when they
I
arose,
wonder if an angel came and kind of pushed it, snuck in, pushed it over, just giggling.
that's right. Hey, watch this, guys. Clunk.
Oh,
But the following morning when they arose, there was Dagon, fallen on his face on the ground before the ark of the Lord. His head and hands had been broken off, and they were lying on the threshold. Only his body remained.
yeah.
That is why to this day neither the priests of Dagon or any others who entered Dagon's temple at Ashdod step on the threshold.
Yeah, and that's kind of interesting, eh?
Mm-hmm.
And that's why you carry the bride over the threshold, I think.
Because in honor of Dagon.
In honor of Dagon, who lost his head and his hands to God. Um, sorry about that one.
There's so nowhere to go with this. I'm just going to step right out of it.
But anyway, it's kind of a neat little story, isn't it?
Yeah,
That this author heard about and got in here, that this stuff happened to Dagon.
yeah.
Yeah.
Verse 6. The Lord's hand was heavy on the people of Ashdod and its vicinity. He brought devastation on them and afflicted them with tumors. When the people of Ashdod saw what was happening, they said, "The ark of the God of Israel must not stay here with us, because his hand is heavy on us and on Dagon our God." So,
Yeah, isn't that amazing?
yeah,
Like they started with these tumors. Uh, yeah, it's kind of weird. If you look in our notes below, they'll say, these are tumors. They could have been tumors in the groin, and then they had all of these different things. So cancerous or not, I don't know. They wouldn't have known the difference in those
right.
days. But just people were dying.
Yeah,
People were dying because they had brought God's ark with them.
yeah, and it's amazing that they didn't put two and two together here, right? Like just to
Yeah,
take this aside.
they do eventually. It's actually sits with them for several months, but they do kind of figure it out
Yeah, yeah,
that this isn't something you mess with.
yeah, yeah. um, Verse 8. So they called together all the rulers of the Philistines and asked them, "What shall we do with the ark of the God of Israel?" They answered, "Have the ark of the God of Israel moved to Gath." Like, send it somewhere else. They'll be fine with it. Don't worry. It's
There
good.
it is. That's when that was the other city, was
Yeah,
Gath.
yeah. So
Yeah.
they moved the ark. They moved the ark of God of Israel. After they moved it, the Lord's hand was against that city, throwing it into a great panic. He afflicted the people of the city, both young and old, with an outbreak of tumors. So they sent the ark of God to Ekron.
Yeah. So, everybody's trying to
You take
just
it.
get rid of
No,
this.
you
Yeah,
take it.
you take it. Yep. Yeah. The hot potato called the ark of God. Yeah.
Here's the best part. Wait for it. It's the second half of verse 10. As the ark of God was entering Ekron, the people of Ekron cried out, "They have brought the ark of God of Israel around to us to kill us and our people." They knew what they were getting into.
Oh yeah, they by this point there was no way they wanted this
Yeah,
thing, eh?
yeah.
Yeah.
So they called together all the rulers of the Philistines and said, "Send the ark of God, send the ark of the God of Israel away. Let it go back to its own place, or it will kill us and our people. For death has filled the city with panic. God's hand was very heavy on it." Those who did not die were afflicted with tumors, and the outcry of the city went up to heaven.
Isn't that an amazing story?
Oh, it's just a fantastic story.
It's also interesting that these pagans are convinced of the power of God.
Right. But change nothing about their own lives.
No. But no, they still wanted to serve their God, right?
Yeah.
Their God had better rules, easier going. It was kind of an easier going God. But but that you play with the things of God. Israel played with it, and they lost the battle.
Yeah.
The Philistines, thinking that they could add this to their temple,
Right.
added it to their temple, and then they were just struck with these tumors, and people were dying.
Yeah.
And they figured it out. They figured it out that this has to do with the ark of God. This isn't some plague that's come from nowhere. This specifically has to do with God being treated poorly in our presence.
Yeah.
Yeah. And this has happened to others. Remember, to the Babylonian king when he went mad for a while,
Right.
and he came back and served God after that. You don't actually hear about him after that much.
No. Nebuchadnezzar kind of falls away from history at that point, right?
Yeah, he disappears in the story. Yeah, you don't know exactly. So anyway, in this case, they've got to get this ark back. So chapter 6, we're going to see them trying to get the ark back to the Israelites because they don't know what to do. They could have just brought it out and just left it out in a field somewhere and said, "Look, come get it if you want it."
Yeah. Tell you what, we'll leave it on the border.
Yeah.
Come get it if you want it, but no, we're not doing anything more than that.
Yeah. And they didn't turn to God either.
No.
Like
I think
Dagon never did a thing good or bad to them.
Yeah.
That's so.
I think that's the part that kind of that gives us pause. But at the same time, how many times do we have like those false things that we believe that we still go, yeah, but
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. Like you should read your Bible and pray every day, but people get superstitious about it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have a bad day. I didn't read my Bible today.
Yeah.
And that then what is faith becomes superstition.
Yeah.
Which happens to us too.
Great way to put it, my friend.
Yeah. And sportsmen are all superstitious to some degree.
Yes. And obviously people in weddings are superstitious because we carry our wives across the threshold.
I don't know.
Back in the old days.
Do
Back in the old days they did. So.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, the kids now don't do anything. Really.
No. Yeah. Whatever.
Yeah. Actually, someday we should look up where that tradition actually comes from.
I will bring that next week. That's what we'll do. We'll bring that next week.
Yeah. We'll have the marriage ceremony in Ashdod and Ekron. And Gath, who doesn't get mentioned.
Yeah, or Gath.
That's okay. Yeah. So anyway, there's the Ark of God. Next week they bring it back.
Yeah, good deal. My friend, thanks for this. What a fun story of God showing his supremacy over not just Dagon, but over anything, right? Because obviously, they do it in such a humorous way. If you don't think there's humor in the Bible, just look at this. This one story is rather humorous. Like Larry says, can you imagine the angel that went, oops? And then comes back the next night and goes, oops. And I love, like we said, we love the reaction of the people of Ekron. Like, get this thing out of here. It's killed everybody else. Now you want to bring it here? You stupid? We're not that dumb.
We're not taking it. We are not taking it.
Yeah. As always, folks, we so appreciate the fact that you listen to us. You just encourage us with just your listening. We see the stats of who listens, and so that's wonderful. Thank you so much. We'll be back in a week's time. Like Larry says, we'll talk about how it gets back to Israel and the fun things that they do that way too. Until next time, I was Steve, he was Larry, and this will be a fun